Wednesday, Thursday, on one day late. I meant to do Workshop Wednesday yesterday and completely forgot. I had been planning on it all day, been thinking about, oh yeah, I can't wait to finish up this project, and got home and got into some other stuff, and before I knew it, it was basically bedtime, and I had completely forgotten to do Workshop Wednesday. So it's a day late, but we will finish this up, hopefully not a dollar short, and we will finish up our Indian chess. So what you're seeing down there, so what is it, right there, there it is. That right there. There we are. This is really confusing. Whatever. That is we're going for. A variation on chess, although perhaps chess is a variation on this, I don't know, called Satrange, which I'm probably mispronouncing. And it's played with a subset of the pieces that we play sort of classic chess with. And we've already made our pieces. So there's what our pieces look like. And now we need to make the board. I started making the board last time, but messed up on the stitching. So we're going to fix that. As I mentioned before, the idea here is we're going to make it out of this black fabric, sort of a faux leather fabric. I'm going to make a board out of it, and I'm going to sew with white thread the actual squares, the actual playing area, and then we'll cut it down and sew the edges, and we will roll up all the pieces into that as a sort of a carrying case, and then I'm going to try to sew end caps, so basically cylinders with a little cap on the end. You can slide each end onto to hold it in place. We'll see how that works. I don't know. But to begin with, the first thing we need is that that very thing, and we have no real good or bad spot here. There's obviously some places here where it's worn, so I don't want to cut out there if I can prevent it. The pieces themselves are roughly, we measured this before, we're going to measure again. So we'll make about 30 centimeters between each of the pieces. I'm going to actually adjust this a little bit, so hopefully it doesn't get just quite as confused about the edge there. Here we go. So here is a piece, and you can see that's maybe about 25, maybe even 20 centimeters. I'm going to go 30 centimeters for each of the squares. And it's a 5x6 board. So if we were to go, it gives ourselves plenty of space. That'd be about 180 on each side. So I'm going to give myself something like 180 would be plenty on each side. We want some extra. So I'm going to go 180, 210. I'm going to go 250 all the way. So we go 250, 250. All right, so that's about 250 both ways. Do I have some chalk? I can mark this off. So I'm just going to mark down a little bit here. I'm going to try not to make the mistake I made before. And you know, have that issue where I tried doing a 6x6 board, which is not correct. That's not 230. That's wrong. There we go. So I'm just trying to cut. We're trying to measure down and get 250. Okay, so there's. You can see that. So there's 250. So I measured 250 there and 250 there. And there's that. So you just need to cut to that spot. And obviously this will give us some extra space. That's good. My scissors. Let's just do that. And a little bit of extra certainly won't hurt. Okay. So there's our playing surface. And like I said, I'm going to sew over these edges, so if there's a little uneven, that's fine. I'm actually going to go ahead and cut off this extra bit of the white underneath. We don't need that. That fabric is actually rather nice, so I don't want to completely remove it from the bottom or anything. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to wipe off the chalk. There we go. Okay, so here's our playing surface. Shoe. You said 180, so let's go ahead and, yeah, so I said before, I kind of made this mistake. So there's 250. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the middle. So this is 250. We want 125. That's right. There's 125 there. I'm actually going to measure that a couple different spots. So I can then run it across. So we'll have my center line. Okay. And then, yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do all of my lines in chalk. So I know, so it's, I mean, I can go either way on this, but I think this is going to be, yeah, so let's do our lines this way. So we're going to have every 30, so that should be pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, yep. 1, 2, 3, that looks right. And again, we kind of go over a bit and do the same thing. There, 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 and then we just run it along those marks. Okay, and we can always clear off this chalk, but also because we're doing white thread, it shouldn't be a problem. Right. Kind of follow that as well. Oops. Come on. Oh. Cool. A few more. This will give us just what we need to sew all of our lines accurately. And then there. Oops. There. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. Good. Now we can work on the rest of it. So we know we want, so let's measure across. Start with the center line. So we have a little over 250, so I'm going to sort of center that in. So this 125 is the center spot, but I don't want it to be there because then I would have even things when it's actually odd. So instead of 125, I need to go 15 over from 125, which would be 140. And then back, which would be 110. I'll just kind of work that away. Okay, so there's our first square, if you will. And we measure over 30 on either side. Right. Oops. 80, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there we go. So we have our marks. All right, so then we will again, and that's at 200. So we want to, again, come down here, just kind of somewhere else. Make it basically in the center. So we know 125 is the center, so we need to go to 140 and 110, and then go up from 140 to 170 and 200, and then down from 110 to 80, oops, and then down from 80 to 50. Yeah. Okay. So there's our marks. And so now we lay this and we mark. And I'm actually looking at the chalk marks to see if I'm a little bit off anywhere and kind of adjusting slightly, because it is certainly possible that I got some of these marks a little bit off. And I want it to be accurate. Yeah. Definitely a little off. We can make it work. And then here, and then we have the last one. So when I know this, I should have a 6x5 grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and rub away the chalk lines beyond the grid that I want, so that I don't accidentally sew beyond, what I'm trying to do. That's awfully easy to do. Is to get a little carried away, if you will. It's a little hard because obviously I've got a lot of chalk going here, and I don't want to mess up the existing chalk too much. So see if I can't wipe away a bit more of that. And like I said, I will go ahead and clean that up later on. Okay, so here's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 playing area. Sweet. So now all we need to do is sew that to get our playing area. Okay, so let's put some of this stuff away. Goes to one side. We will pull out our ridiculous tiny little sewing machine. This is the entire sewing machine. We'll put it where you can fairly well see it. And we have our threads all ready to go. Good. And again, I'm not sewing anything together. I'm just sewing this pattern. I'm sewing these lines into this. So let's just go ahead and do that. I've got my thread. I will lower the foot. And then with luck, we can sew this down without anything falling apart on this. So we're just sewing down that line. As evenly as possible. Okay. Yep, that's good. I'm going to turn this back down and see what we can do here. Okay, I can just, no. So you see how we're getting this nice stitch down there. Okay. Now, there's probably some ideal way of doing this where you kind of go back and forth on each one, and then you get a perfect kind of pattern. But I don't know how to do that. So I need to go down each of those lines. Do I want to do them as separate lines, or do I want to just go ahead and cover? I'm going to go ahead and cover. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to essentially re-stitch that, and then spin this that way, which is a little awkward, but we'll make it happen. And I'm going to go down that row. Hope I don't run out of thread. I mean, not the end of the world at all, but one of those things where it's like, it'd be nice if we didn't have to do that. This needs to go this way, right? Yeah. Right. Spin it round, maybe spin it right round. Spin it back round. And then we will go down this row. Definitely having the chalk lines worked out helps tremendously. Like I feel like I can just do this. There's no real hesitation. But I also don't feel like I'm gonna get partway through and be completely wrong about something. I mean, I probably will. Something will probably get messed up. That's kind of the nature of making stuff. But I don't feel like I'm constantly having to second guess myself. I guess not second guess myself, but just I don't feel like I'm constantly having to think about every step of the process. Whoa, no. What the? Well, there we go. Completely messed that up. So what I'm going to do is pull that out. That snapped. That's not great. Okay, I have to rethread that. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pull that out and see if I can't basically just, I pressed the wrong button, or didn't press the right button. Can I just pull these? I want to undo this stitch basically, which is proving to be very difficult. Okay, I actually don't care too much about the understitch. It's just this stitch here I need to fix. So I went way too far, and I just need to go in here and undo the stitch, and I'll just start again higher up. Okay, that's the bottom. So let's see if I can just undo that. Oh, we just do that. Just kind of rip it out. Actually, let's see if I can just. So we just kind of destroy that, and then hopefully we can just, there we go. Just pull that out and then stop there. Okay. Again, frustrating, but not a big deal. All right. So now we're going to have to rethread that needle. Everything else should be good to go on this. So this goes down into this little thing, which is really not that easy to do. And we moisten it, thread the needle. It is not being very, there we go. It's not cooperating there for a while. All right, everything put through, cool. Now I just need to do this. So I do this one, and then I need to do the other ones. So I should probably just do the one line, and then I can go boom, 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 instead of trying to go around the corner. Although I could go around the corner. And we'll see. Put this down. Hopefully this will work. Whoa! Shoot. No big harm done. It is going way too fast. Okay, so let me rethread. That goes through there. This goes here. I'm going to have to recut, remoisten, and rethread. There we go. I might just pull out a bit more of that. Ooh, I'm very, yeah, you can see I'm near the end of that bobbin. So we'll get some through here, but not too much. All right. I pop right out. What? You know, we were having this problem before, and I resolved it, but now it's remaining stubbornly unresolved. That's threaded through. Let me feed more thread through. Maybe it just needs a bunch more out. Also, could the thread me? The thread is... Oh, yeah, it's not threaded. 1 second. So you need to do this thing, which should go down and like catch that, right? And then you like pull it through. Okay, I think that's correct. I think now it's maybe sort of, no, maybe not. Perhaps get it right, perhaps not. We'll find out in about a second. That seems happy. Yep, good. This isn't on fast speed, is it? Shouldn't be. All right. Then can we make the turn? Is the question. I think we can. It'll just be easier to do that. Whoa! Ah, shoot. That's really bad. Okay, well. Okay. I think I can solve this. Okay. Not too terrible. I just sewed a little too far. And so I have a weird little hook in there, which looks a little weird, but I can live with it. Okay. And now, hopefully I have enough thread left to do at least a few lines down this way. Looking pretty nice, huh? Not too bad. Not too shabby. Yeah. Spin it around like this. Yep. Wow. I'm so close to the end of that bobbin. In fact, I need to, like, so you can see how little thread I have left on this. So I'm going to stop there. Pause there and rethread that. And I believe there is an automated way of doing this, or I know there is. But let's just go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way, which is often a worthwhile option. So we're gonna add some more white thread onto this. We need a fair amount more, although maybe not too much more, because once this is done, I think I want the end caps to be black threaded. So we'll see what we do here. And I think I have a few. Let me just check. This came with some bobbins. So there's one with black. I have several with black thread on it. Good. So I don't have to worry about having to thread yet another bobbin with black thread. That's a relief. So I'm just going to put this on here and wrap this with some white thread. Excuse me, some white thread, to quote Bob Ross. I love some white. And we'll just keep that going. Go. Again, I want a fair amount on this. Not so much for this project, but because, if you're going to thread a bobbin, you might as well have a fair amount on there. So the next project, you're not spending all of your time on that. I'm not a huge fan of spending huge amounts of time on each project, kind of prepping. Would rather be able to just jump right in. Now, obviously, you might have different colored threads in each project, but I'm personally not of the type to very carefully match thread color in that sense. It's not like it has to be exactly that shade of yellow or whatever. So I don't imagine in my particular situations being particularly worried about that stuff. And now that that's pretty well in there, I'm going to trim off some of that extra. We'll go ahead and do a fair amount of that. I mentioned in a previous video, I've thought about measuring how much thread I needed. In fact, I tried once, but I very badly miscalculated. So I don't do that anymore, at least not at the moment. Maybe someday I'll figure all that out, but need a lot more thread than I thought I needed, or I needed more than I thought I needed. Okay. So again, I'm not going to do a full bobbin here, but this will get us where we need to be for the rest of those, because we really only need 2 more runs. But you need extra for the extra lines and such. So not for the extra lines, but for the this you need some overhang, some extra to catch properly. So Oop, don't go too far. And there we go. So a little more. And again, I'll have some extra for the next project. So I'm not completely starting from scratch. Okay. And yeah, I think we're good. Okay. So this goes something like this. Where'd the spring go? Where's the spring? I need a spring. No spring. That went right there. Did it fly down? I put it off to one side. I can't do much without that spring. It's fairly important. Ah, there it is. Okay, good. So, putting that on there, then threading it through this. I have found threading through this machine to be a little painful. Goes through there, goes there, goes through there. Make sure it's low. Oh, there we go. Then it goes through here. Then it goes down here. A bunch of little loops to go through. About a little bit more. Down here, and then I'm going to thread the needle, which again hopefully won't take too long. Give myself a little extra slack. But threading the needle just does take a little time, at least for me. No, not quite. Almost there. Jeez. And it's just such detailed work. Like I can't see very well at that level, at that point. I can't really see where the eye is. So I end up just kind of shoving it into random spots, hoping it'll. There we go. Ah! I could pull. I pushed it through and then pulled it back out again. There we go. Okay, good. Alrighty, and then we have to again do that thing where it goes down and then catches it, and then we can hopefully pull that through. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Now we need to do those. Okay. So we start here, boom, and with luck, we can just do it. Yay. And then we go here, continue. Here, and this is our final line down. Took a lot longer than I thought. Whoa. Okay. Let out. I think we got it. Let's just trim these up. Now, if this were a higher quality sewing machine, I could sort of firm up these ends by kind of going back and forth. But this machine does not have a reverse that I'm aware of. Yep, if you can believe that. And so I just need to trim these off. And so, again, they will fray over time and probably come out. But for what I'm doing here, I am not displeased. Here we go. Let me go ahead and, I'm actually going to grab a sponge to wipe this down with. It's just a lightly damp sponge, just to get that chalk off. There we go. Not bad at all. So, let's test it. Lay out our pieces. I'm not exactly sure how these are supposed to go, but just to give you an idea. There's a rook and some pawns. I'm not going to lay out all of them, but yeah, that's a good size. So I feel like I could play this effectively here, you know. Good. Okay. So that's there. Now let's fix this up. I do kind of like the fact that this is a square piece of fabric, even though the board is not entirely square, it's rectangular. So I think I'm going to keep that. So I'm just going to fold this under and sew the edges. Now, do I want to sew the edges with the white? I don't think I do. So I'm going to go ahead and swap out for the black. Let me just see what I've got here. So I have, I have this guy that it's almost full of black, and this one that is entirely full of black. So good. I can just switch out these bobbins. So let me go ahead and, again, we're going to pop this off. Put the spring out of the way. We're just going to pull that out. I will wind that back on, because there's no point in having a bunch of your thread. Actually, I like having that because I can hold on to it while I'm threading. Good to know. And then I will put, it doesn't really matter. This one will go up here. It's actually a thicker thread. So I'll go ahead and rethread that. It just came with the, ooh, wow. It just came with the machine, so it's just kind of a random thread. So we will put that there. Put this through here. Try to respect the machine. This through here. Out. There's a loop on the side I have to go through, and then a hole in here I have to go into. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have time tonight to do these end caps. Maybe I'll make one just as an experiment, but this is taking an awfully long time. Good, that's threaded. So there's that, and now I have to replace the bobbin in the bottom. I'll just use this one. So it goes in like this, and then I think I just do that to grab it, and then I do that to pull it through. Yeah, came up. Cool. That was surprisingly easy. Okay, pull some of that out. You might be able to see the difference between the thicknesses of these two threads just as I hold them out there. Okay, again, it shouldn't matter too much what I'm doing, I don't think. It will have an effect, but it shouldn't have an outsized effect. We'll find out. Get some of these scraps out of the way so I don't accidentally sew onto them. So yeah, so I'm just going to fold this over and just sew a bunch of seams. And try to make this more or less even all the way down. So we're trying to go like that. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to try pulling it out and then folding that under and seeing if I can just continue the stitch. Should be able to. It's a little funky, but it should be doable. Like a lot of things in life, somewhat funky but doable. I'm having trouble folding this, keeping it folded under. Why is it not? Okay. I want this fairly even. I think that's going to be right. Let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Fold it up. Fold over. Okay, yeah, it's a little uncomfortable with being folded over, but it can happen. It can be made to work. Again, like many things in life, it can be made to work. Okay. Boom. Oops. Pull it out. Fold under. Does not want to fold under, which is reasonable. It's a very heavy, very thick spot in which to do stuff. Okay. I just have to be a little more careful. Okay. Cool. Cool. Yep. Oops. Not quite. There. Fold that under. And do our final thing. Really wish the pedal worked on this. Okay. Actually went past, which is not a bad thing. Okay. Oops. Pull that back out. There we go. And then I'm just gonna trim off all these. Okay. All right. There's our game board. I am not at all displeased by this. Okie doke. So again, the idea now is we're going to play around a bit with the way this would actually look. Oops, the hand's already pulling out a bit. So all the pieces would go. Oops, I just saw something fell off. Oh, they're all falling off. Ooh, or are those just spares? Okay, good. Those are just spares. Whew. Those are extra tops. Good. So these pieces would all go here, roughly. You might even get them in a nice pattern. Even like, yeah, that's fine. I kind of want them to be more or less in line. I think that'll be important. Okay. And you roll it up. Actually, yeah, good point. So put them all down here. And then we'll roll it up kind of like a burrito. So there we go. Oops. So there's our game. Oops. And like I said, I want to make caps for either end of this. So I'd slide one cap on and the other cap on. And then ideally those caps would, oops, of course they're falling out the bottom. And ideally those caps could also be used to hold the pieces. So when you take them off, you put the red pieces in one, the black pieces in the other. So this is my size. I've never actually done like cylindrical end caps, and I googled this a little bit, and it turns out it's not exceedingly obvious. Like I couldn't find any easy way of doing that, because basically you have a cylinder, which is fine, and you have a circle, which is fine. But then when you like try to attach the cylinder to the circle, it'll end up binding all around the circle, right? So basically, that end cap, that circle, needs to have things to sew onto to sew it around. And it can't just be, you can't just make the circle, well, so if this is the end of it, and I have a circle, a cylinder that goes on that, and I want to sew this end onto the cylinder, you can just pull up the edges, right, so it fits into that circle. But these edges are going to bind so much, they will curl over on each other so much, it'll be almost impossible to sew it onto that. So you can cut notches in it, and that will basically help a lot, but you need a lot of notches. So you end up with, several dozen notches essentially all the way around, which is kind of annoying and time consuming. And especially on something like this, that's going to be difficult. What I could do, well, a couple of things I could do. Let's see here. I could just do this. Just squeeze the ends. Basically put like binder clips on the end. And that would solve it. And that would be the end of it. And that's the other thing I actually think about this, is that if I do cylinders, I don't know if this is going to hold very well. But the binder clips would just hold it closed, and it would solve the problem. It would have this sort of weird burrito thing. The problem with the binder clips, though, is it would tend to squeeze this into a flat shape, and so when you unrolled it, it would be, it would have creases, which I don't really like. We've been going for almost an hour, so here's what I think I'm gonna do. Let me first try this. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna roll it. Okay, so it is roughly 130 centimeters from that end. You can't see that as well, very well, can you? Let's figure out, let's remove that. There we go. So if I start here and roll, I get to about 130 centimeters. So I'd probably do 150 and make that, 40 centimeters deep. So I need a piece 150 by 140 for the cylinder. And then I would just, put that down and make, I know I would need something that is, let's see here, 40 centimeters wide. So that's easy. So I get, again, maybe a 50 centimeter, maybe even a 60 centimeter, 60 centimeters wide. Give me 10 centimeters on either end to go up. And then I would sew the, Let's not think about it. Let's do it. So I need 150 centimeters. I'm just going to do it this way. By 40. Yeah, 40 is a good place. So there's our cap. Oh, but do I want... Let me do a little bit more so I can sew over the edges. So I'm going to go, instead of 40, I'm going to go 50. So let's just do that. And then, like I said, I know I need I was going to do like a 60 centimeter square, circle. So let's do, I'm going to cut out a square and then circleize it. So there's 60. And there's 60. This is hideously inexact, but should work for what I'm trying to do. Sorry you can't see this. Here we go. So that is a 60 centimeter square. So I should just be able to cut roughly a circle. And again, this is it doesn't need to be exact, as it turns out, because I will be cutting in notches. So, so we know, again, if this is that, we want this to be, well, yeah, it's gonna start falling out. But we know we want this to be, go over the end of that. So we have to cut in like 10 centimeters. Let me just do that. Actually, I should do wedges. Wedge. So I'm going to do wedges basically at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. And I'll probably need them again further. But that'll just kind of get me started. Yeah, that's not really very accurate, but you get the idea. So I would need to fold those. Yeah, so I will need more notches. Some buenos notches. There's one there. Yeah, so just go in between each of these. And hopefully this will be enough to where we can sew it in. And then, yeah, sew that around the edges of the cylinder. So basically I want to sew, like, start here and sew all the way around that and just keep on sewing until I have a cylinder. I don't know how to do that at all. Let me trim this off. So, put these two edges together, start sewing there, and then sort of tuck in and keep sewing, and it should eventually sew around. I'm fine with there being that rough edge. All right. Let's see what happens. Not even sure if I should be doing it this way. In there. Is it going to be easier to do it? Let's try doing it this way. All right. Put this in here. So I'm putting this down. And I'm just trying to get this started. And then if I can sort of do... No, so the problem is the presser foot is flat. And so I can't have a flat presser foot, well, unless this is here, and I'm sewing into the very edge of that. I could keep on, okay, well, maybe. So we do this, so then if I pull this in, I'm just going to give it a whirl. I'm just going to kind of tuck this in and try to sew some of that in. Maybe. No. I don't have enough to work with. It's a problem. So I'm trying to pull this, tuck this in, but there's no way for the cylinder to form. I mean, it's kind of forming the cylinder. Let's tuck this way in. Oops. So if I tuck that in, I'm just winging it here, folks. Okay, so you can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to sew this around in a circle, even though like the fabric doesn't want to go that way. But I'm hoping if I sort of pull these in enough, I can make it work. It's a very weak hope. Yeah, I would need a lot more kind of, yeah, this isn't gonna, the pieces aren't really holding together right. I would need much more, I don't know, something. So let's try overlapping that. Yeah, the pieces need to be farther apart. They're just too close. Okay. But we're going to go all the way around just to see what happens. To see how close we get. And then we can adjust from there. Again, this is just a couple of pieces of fabric, so it's like if this doesn't work out, we can just throw it all out. Okay. No. Ooh, didn't like that. I think we're still okay. Yep, looks like it. Tuck this in a bit more. Just coming around. I think we may actually have something here. I'm going to pull this out. Yeah, it kind of sort of worked. Kind of. Sort of. Scissors, scissors. Okay. So we have this bizarre thing. Can I... No, that got all caught up in that. Okay. All right, so we have some threading problems, but I'm hoping if I can just... this is impossible. So I would need to sew this up by hand, basically, because there's no place for the sewing machine to go. It's just going to sew over. Unless, can I do? No, because it's going to, well, let's see how far I can go. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work very well, but I'm just going to sew it up and see what happens. Because I just want the completed thing at this point. So I'm just putting this up there, pressing down the foot, and I'm just going to sort of sew this in. Oh, no. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That would be a problem. Oh, it popped out. Okay. Didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. Okay. I may have had something pop out. But, so I would sew this together. So let's see what happens. Is this a decent, would this be a decent cap if it was sewn together? If it were sewn together. Kind of, sort of. So here's the cap. Again, let's pretend, actually, let me grab some pins. I'm just going to pin that closed so we can pretend. It's one of the things pins are for. There we are. That'll do for now. Okay. So here's our cap. So if we were to do this, ooh, actually, that's not bad at all. Cool, cool. So we do one more on the other end, same idea. Interesting. So that end's pretty kind of a mess. I'm not thrilled with that end, but I don't know of a better way of doing it. I guess I would need to cut out more. So I think if basically instead of having a circle with a bunch around the end and a few notches, I basically need to cut out large pieces of the trim around the circle. So I only have a few tags basically that I'm sewing onto the edges of this. This does not need to be airtight. So I just need, maybe 6 tags basically to sew on all around the edges, and there'd be some gaps. But that would probably work a lot better, frankly. I think that would definitely work better. But I think you get the idea. So this is, the other one would work the same as the first one. You don't need me to show you all that. So we would have our 2 ends. We would pop those off, and we would roll out these. And like I said, if you had the 2 caps, then this one could be for all of the, as your black pieces get taken, you put those in one end. That's your container for those pieces. And so you roll it out, and you lay out your forces. Bishop, I think the way this goes is like this. And I will probably also paint the undersides of these. I think I like that idea better. And so if that works that way, then presumably you would have your, why do I have, I have 2, no, that's a queen, okay. Where's my king? There's a knight. Rook, there's a rook. Wait a minute, rook. Bishop, oh, okay. It looks like either that's, I did not print out a king, or, oh yeah, looks like it. Look at that. I forgot to do my king. So that's a good note to self. We'll fix that. I'll paint up another piece and take care of that. But there are, in fact, it's a good thing I had all those extra reds, right? So there's our board. We could play our game of Indian chess. So that is that project. You get the idea. I'll probably finish out the rest of these things some other time, but I don't think you need to see me go through all those parts of it to understand what's going on here. So yeah, just I'm very pleased with this. This is a nice little travel board game, and it'll be fun to take along and play with somebody, and pretty darn portable. So hope you found this useful, and until next time, make something.